Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios, iHeart app on your phone, and streaming to you on yorbamedia.com. All right, my first guest today, first time to the show, and I'm sure he's going to keep us abreast of what's going on in his industry sector. And matter of fact, it's the first time we've had anybody from this industry sector on the show. Atonn F. Mohammed, CEO, The Real Hip Hop Network, and his symbol, his stock symbol, everybody. B as in boy, T as in Tom, D as in David, and G as in gold. Solid gold in this case. All right, Atonn, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, it's good to be on the show, Mike.
All right, my pleasure. You've got quite the background in your industry sector of all over the place, doing all kinds of things, and you are right in the middle of some of the most exciting things going on in the music industry. I want to step back for just a minute, allow you to introduce yourself to our audience, give us your background, and let's get into the Real Hip Hop Network and what you're doing, what you're reviving, and where we're going to go in the future with you.
Well, Mike, first of all, it's an honor and a pleasure to be on your show. I've actually listened to your show for a while, and I'm really impressed with the kind of work you do. And I think that this is a perfect platform to be able to introduce your audience to what's going on in the world of digital media, entertainment, and hip-hop lifestyle and culture.
I really want to take that as a serious compliment, because you've been on every major network prior to coming on my show, and to say that to me, I'm honored. Thank you.
And you know you've made quite a reputation for yourself, Mike. And as you may or may not know, your name has traveled in many circles.
Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, all right, tell me about you now.
Well, I am a inner city guy from Washington D.C. Came up from humble working class beginnings, and I went to play football at the University of Miami. Played for the Miami Hurricanes. Obviously, during the time I got there, Jimmy Johnson was just leaving. I played under Kirk Ferguson. We had just won the national championship and was really the number one franchise in college sports. There, my brother and I walked on to the number one team in the country because we wanted to show everybody that we were the best. And my dad told me, if you want to be the best, you got to go where the best is. And had some great years there. Mike played with the likes of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, Hall of Famer Warren Sapp, Bob Marley's son, Rohan Marley, and I studied finance and business. But my heart was really in business all the time, and after I left college, to the dismay of my parents, didn't go immediately into the workforce or pro. I went right into concert promotions, where I began to start cutting my teeth in the music business, developing my network of folks, and I specialized in hip-hop entertainment and really had a good run and worked with some of the biggest celebrities in the hip-hop and entertainment industry. And, right around 1995 to 1997, when Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. were murdered, things started to fall from the hip-hop concert promotions game. And I had to look for another outlet, which took me back into the career that I trained for. And I worked as a wealth manager for Morgan Stanley. And that was actually where I came up with the idea for the Real Hip Hop Network. It was right along the time where BET sold to Viacom. And there was a lot of outrage in the black community about that sale. Primarily because although BET had its problems, primarily with a lot of the negative hip-hop music videos primarily, it was something that the African-American community embraced. So it really gave me an idea to think, me being, a hip-hop fan since a teenager and somebody who really grew up in the golden era of hip-hop, thought that this was, really my opportunity to be able to be a game changer and bring some independent media that will bring intelligent, thought-provoking, and inspiring hip-hop content to the world. And that's how I got started.
Okay, the Real Hip Hop Network, give us an idea how you're going to unite hip-hop's global community into one global movement.
Well, you know what, Mike, that's a great question that you asked. Hip-hop, when it started in the Bronx, New York City, started really from people who had nothing. You know, it was during a really difficult time in the Reagan era where, you know, there was a lot of urban blight in New York City. The city had cut arts programs, and the youth of that city just went into the streets and turned their record players into musical orchestras that they created their own beats with, and they turned the hard concrete streets into their dance studios and created breakdancing. And obviously they got on the microphone and spoke their poetry to the world, and it became a platform to where they voiced their condition. And that sense of bold, that sense of inspiring creativity spread throughout the planet like wildfire. And now you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar, multi-ethnic global community that spans the entire globe and has really began to start affecting change as we know it around the planet. The Arab Spring recently, Mike, rappers like Deeb from Egypt was one of the instrumental leaders in the revolution there in Tahrir Square. And rapper El General, who was from Tunisia, was featured in Time magazine as one of the Men of the Year for his song El Presidente, which became the anthem that really fueled all of the revolutions from Tunisia to Egypt to even Libya. So hip-hop really was the voice of the revolution, as it seems, and they credit the American hip-hop artists in the early 80s and 90s as their inspiration for this, and it truly gives proof to the sentiment that the revolution will be televised.
Wow. So how are you going to blend that into what real hip-hop is doing and walk us through that? And by the way, I didn't even mention that in the beginning of this. Congratulations for making the cover of Billboard magazine.
Yeah, thank you, man. That was a great honor for us. Obviously, you know, it's something that's coveted by our peers, and to have made the cover of Billboard magazine was truly a milestone moment for the network. And you know, just to give you an idea about how we plan to connect the global communities, Real Hip Hop Network
there you go.
Has aired on EBS TV for the past 2 years. And we started on Arabsat. We moved to Eutelsat, where we broadcast to a footprint of 165 million households globally, primarily in the footprint of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. We ran the primetime day parts for EBS, and we got a lot of great feedback. We used this kind of as our test market to really see how well our content was responding, and we got an amazing response. We got word from Arabsat that we were voted 2 years in a row the number one entertainment channel on their platform. So we obviously said that we had to really begin to start rolling our movement into the United States and really beginning to pick up momentum here, because honestly, Mike, when you look at the condition of hip-hop right now, we really, really need something different than what we have out here promoted by most of the music lifestyle channels. And that's where we come in, to provide that solution of change, you know, with being able to provide gritty, real, intelligent content, you know, that's themed around hip-hop for the masses.
I agree with you 100%. We've got about 2 minutes left in this segment, a whole nother one to get through, but I want to let everybody know it's R as in red, H as in house, N as in number, .tv for your website.
Yes.
Now, I'm on the homepage here, and you've got something you're doing with Kickstarter. Tell us briefly about that, and we can spill into the other segment after the breaks and pick up if we don't have enough time for you to.
Yeah, sure. Well, Kickstarter's had some amazing success with people like Kirsten Bell with the Veronica Mars movie, where they raised about $6 million in about 11 hours or so. Spike Lee also used the platform to finance one of his independent films. Now, Mike, we just filed our S-1, as you know, and are preparing for a pending IPO for Real Hip Hop Network. But a lot of our fans aren't what you call accredited investors, but they're really the heart and life's blood of this channel. And this Kickstarter campaign is our way of being able to give back to them and give them the opportunity of being able to support the culture and the lifestyle that they love. Anybody that had the feeling in their heart saying that hip-hop could be better and needs a different representation to the world, they can be able to get on Kickstarter and give anything from as low as $1 to as much as they like, to be able to make certain that this independent TV channel gets out there and gets promoted. And we're putting together a documentary, Mike, to give to everybody to showcase and commemorate the launch of this opportunity.
Let's get into that on the other side of this break, all right?
Thanks.
All right, you're welcome. All right, on the other side of this break, we're going to come back with Atonn Muhammad, CEO, The Real Hip Hop Network. Symbol on the stock is Boy, Tom, David, Gary. Web address rhn.tv. And special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios, streaming on the iHeart app and yorbamedia.com. All right, my guest for this segment is none other than one guy that's going to make a lot of history in his industry sector, the music business, Atonn Muhammad, CEO, The Real Hip Hop Network, whose stock symbol is B as in boy, T as in Tom, D as in David, and G as in gold, solid gold. And the web address, rhn.tv. All right, Atonn, when we left, we were talking about the documentary that you're doing a crowdfunding through Kickstarter for, but bring us into the documentary, what you're going to put in it. But aside from that, when you get that done, I want to see what you're going to do with your competition, because you're head-to-head with MTV, BET, Revolt TV, and that's another conversation we can have right after you tell us about the documentation.
Yeah, sure. And Mike, one thing is for certain. This has been not an overnight situation. I know everyone says that it takes about 10 years to be an overnight success. Well, RHN is knocking on that 10-year history. And what we've done was evolve our model, and we're going to give people an inside look of how we built the channel, talk with all the people who were with the channel from the very beginning, the celebrities that have helped us along the way and have been spokespeople and follow us up until now, until we actually make our U.S. launch here, which we're planning for later this fall on DirecTV and Dish Network. You know, this is, and with that, they'll get a lot of great rewards. I mean, they go on to the Kickstarter link, and they can be able to see everything from being able to actually be a VJ for a day, to being in a music video, even a blinged out RHN class ring. And everybody who supports this campaign will be in the RHN Kickstarter yearbook. Whether or not you put in $1 or much, much more, you will have your picture and your name as one of our supporters, and each person who supports it will get a digital copy of that. You know, so this is some real cool stuff, and we're looking forward to being able to, you know, cast it down for history's sake, because you mentioned our competition, Mike,
Yep.
You know, and we've seen the Time Warner and the Comcast merger. Independent TV networks are as rare as the dinosaur in our industry.
Yep.
And for us to launch the Real Hip Hop Network as an independent network, not owned, controlled, or affiliated with one of the big 5 media conglomerates, not only increased the difficulty factor, but also, you know, gives proof to the determination we had to really make a difference. And the reason why we needed to stay independent, Mike, is, look, mainstream media has had their opportunity, and a lot of the trash that are affecting our kids out there and harming them in a lot of ways, with some of the examples that they take as role models from things that they hear in the music videos, you know, are really filling up the prison industrial complex with our kids. And somebody needed to step out there and say that there's a better way. Anytime you have music labels actually with 7 or 8 artists promoting illegal drug use on record, and it's being sponsored, paid for, and promoted by public companies primarily, there has to be somebody that says that we need to be able to be responsible to the audience that we are going to reach, and give them something that will uplift them and change their lives. In media, we don't sell just TV commercials. We sell influence.
Right.
And that's why people will pay $3 million to put a 30-second spot on the Super Bowl, because we already know the influence we have when we put an image in front of the minds of people, and especially young people. They're impressionable and can be easily influenced.
It's about time you stepped up. I'm really proud of you saying that, because that's going to change the image that a lot of people have on the industry sector. It's guys like you that are going to actually make it about the music again, and not so much about the downside commercialization of it.
Right, and look, understandably, people say sex and violence sells. But in my heyday, Mike, there were artists like KRS-One and artists like Public Enemy and Queen Latifah, who is now a major TV star, and Will Smith, who never said a single cuss word in the rap. And they're megastars on a national and international level. And they didn't go around by calling themselves the B word or the N word or being disrespectful or being able to put out a message that was embarrassing to the community they came from. They were great representations of the early days of hip-hop. And Public Enemy taught message music, and really empowered the young people that listened to their music. And Chuck D was a former spokesperson for the channel. So was KRS-One, who coined the phrase edutainment. And that's what Real Hip Hop Network is going to be. Edutainment, gritty, real, 100% positive, giving young people an opportunity to talk about the world's issues, but giving them balance and a perspective on right and wrong, so our kids can make the right choices and not just be led down the wrong lane by the Pied Pipers of pop culture.
I agree with him. Once again, your time has come. Now let me steer this a little bit to the right on this digital media convergence. You're all over this. Open that up for us.
Wow, and I'm telling you, the world of TV and music has changed. And Mike, I've been having conversations a lot of times with my colleagues in the music and TV business. It's also affecting film. People jumped all over the piracy thing with Napster, and the record companies decided that they would attack the fans for being able to use the file sharing software because they did not jump in front of the trend of digital music before the internet took hold and became caught on like wildfire. So they decided, instead of getting into a room and coming up with a concept to allow them to take advantage of all the eyeballs that were on Napster, they spent energy suing 12-year-old kids for downloading thousands and thousands of songs for free. Now, I'm not against artists getting paid for their material. What I am saying is that as CEOs, Mike, we have to look around the corner and see the future. And the future is digital media convergence. The TV, your cell phone, social media networks are all combining to create really a new way that we control media, that we access and see media. The days before video on demand, we used to do destination programming. I got to be home at 2 o'clock to see a show. Now you can TiVo it, or you can be able to go on video on demand and check out a show that you haven't had the time to see. And now TV everywhere is truly everywhere. And that's how we call Real Hip Hop Network a digital media channel. We just did an agreement with a company called Tulix, which will be streaming Real Hip Hop Network to Google TV and Roku soon. And we're launching an IP TV app that will get us to all of the mobile and cell phone devices as well. And stay tuned. There's going to be some big pay-per-view concert events that RHN has in development that we will use social networking as a key component to reach critical fan bases. We like to stay cutting edge and state-of-the-art. That's what keeps us fresh and hungry. And some of the big guys won't get an opportunity to move as fast because they're not as nimble.
I agree. You have any events coming up that you want to point the audience to? They can participate with you. I know that we've got the Kickstarter thing going, but I mean other things that you do, because you're in the entertainment business.
Yeah, we are going to be. I'm really excited about this. We were in talks with High 97 Summer Jam and we're on board to be the media sponsor for the event. And we're going to be, taping live from MetLife Stadium in New York City, the home and the birthplace of hip-hop. We're really excited about it. They got a great lineup already. Nicki Minaj is going to be there, the former host of American Idol. They're going to have greats like Nas and 50 Cent and Lil Wayne and the Young Money crew. They're going to be there as well. A lot of the major stars in hip-hop come out for this event, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Great. All right, we're out of time. Before we go, please, contact information. You brought a lot of great stuff to the table today.
Mike, I enjoyed this interview, and for anybody who wants to get any information about us, our contact information is on the website. That's rhn.tv. Once again, rhn.tv, and the revolution will be televised on RHN.
I'll be bringing you back so you can keep us abreast of this.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Mike. You take care.
You too. Atonn Muhammad, CEO, Real Hip Hop Network, rhn.tv, symbol BTDG. So could you imagine being on the ground floor of something that took off like MTV in the beginning? Here's your opportunity. All right, coming up next, and by the way, special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support. Next up, Vince Molinari, and he's got a special guest, Stephen Watkins, CEO, Eurotex. He always has got some international flair somewhere on his agenda. We'll be right back with our crowdfunding and impact investing correspondent, Vince Molinari.